I'd gotten naughty in town and I was arrested.
Yeah.
They took me to the police station. All right, it was a very rough kasi. Things were really, you had to protect yourself. There were times where sent to make a tipa, and I was one of those boys.
Really?
So I saw that criticism. Hey, he can't sing, can't hold a note, can't. Did the second album. So if I had listened to the first criticism, there will not be Kialeboga Jesu.
Well, thank you very much again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. This is our first ever episode of the Gospel Reality Podcast, and we are joined by a very good friend of mine, a brother, and my pastor, Pastor Lungi Ndala. Tata Mruti.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I made sure that, you know what, you need to be here. You're the first one to grace this platform.
What an honor.
And no, the honor is mine because given a man of your stature,
Yeah.
you are in business and you are a pastor,
Yeah.
time is very valuable. So I appreciate,
Yeah.
I understand the sacrifice you took to be here.
No, thank you. I really appreciate it as well.
So and that chair you're sitting on, you unwrapped.
Well, I unwrapped this beautiful chair. Thank you for making me the first. So I have also vaccinated it.
Yeah, you're fully vaccinated. This chair, anointed.
Yeah.
We call it the bending chair. That's why it's red.
Wow.
Yes. So Tata Mruti,
Wow.
I wanted to start from the beginning. Ne?
Yeah.
All
right.
And really relaying the stories of our gospel musicians. Ne?
All right.
I want to understand deeper where you come from.
All right.
Ne? But before we go there, you're popularly known as Pastor Lungi.
Yeah.
So you had 3 names to choose from.
Yeah.
Why Lungi?
I think because I grew up being known as at home Lungi. And yeah.
Was that your popular name?
That was my popular name.
Really?
Yeah.
There's Musa.
There's Musa, there's freedom.
Hey.
So, but at home, I mean, they'll call you Lungi, Lungani.
But Musa, growing up from a Christian family,
Yeah.
you'd assume that Musa would be the popular.
In actual fact, Musa was a name that I actually adopted because it's my father's name,
Really?
which I took as my name as well. Yeah.
Apostle Mos.
Yeah, Apostle Mos. His
Really?
name is Mos Musa.
I really assumed that your name would be Freedom. Seeing that Freedom.
Funny enough, the name Freedom as well comes from because I was born during the height of the political battles in our country. And I think there's 2 ways that I'm being explained as how. One, it was the hope for freedom that it will happen. But 2, I was named also after a very powerful preacher at the time. His name was Freedom Sengwai.
The writer of Tulasiz.
So that's where my name Freedom comes from. They had hoped that this young man probably one day will be as great as Bob Sengwai.
Look, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. I think he really instilled something in you. No?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that you come from a family of pastors.
Yeah.
Yes. I know of Ndala in Atteridgeville.
Yeah, that's my grandfather.
That's your grandfather?
Yeah.
So you're destined for this?
Well, I'm not sure if I was destined for this, but yeah, I happened to be blessed and fortunate enough to be raised in such a home or in such a family. Grandfather is a pastor. My dad's older brother is a pastor. My dad's younger brother is a pastor. My dad is a pastor. So, and yeah, I'm probably coming in as I'm told that my great grandmother, Alfosina, she was also probably the first matriarch in our family to really preach the gospel. So yeah.
So at the back of your mind, you realize, hey, that destiny. I'm destined.
Yeah, well, I tried sometimes to not even entertain that thought.
Especially in your younger days.
Yeah, and try not to entertain it.
Can be tough. And your dad, being a pastor, how was the upbringing? Was he very lenient to you?
No, not at all. No, my dad he's a very orderly man. Apostle Mos is a very orderly man, and I think very structured in his life. And you obviously are gonna, if you have a father like that, then you must know that your life has to have certain order and a structure. I would say he was overly strict, but I think there were rules that really helped us to live, govern us as a family as well. And yeah, I'm privileged and blessed to have been raised by a man like that.
men like that.
Yeah.
And when I went around finding out about you, they said order is one of the biggest things that you value and you cherish.
Yeah.
Somebody told me a story that you've got a dining room.
Yeah.
No, what's the place where you eat?
Yeah.
Dining room.
Yeah,
Right?
dining room.
And then dining time and dining area is a very important thing for you.
Yeah.
To connect with your kids and your family and your wife.
Yeah. No, I think, growing up in that kind of a context as well, I think that's what Apostle established at home. We call it at home, we call it Table Mountain. Because that's where we would eat, family issues were discussed. and he always said that he wanted that to be part of his children's lives, so that when we grow up and we can have our own families, it will not be a strange thing to have a dining time or to eat together as a family, and which I try, and as busy as sometimes life can get, I try where opportunity is there to sit together with the family, just have a time to have a meal together.
No, that's beautiful. People don't know your father is a great composer.
Yeah. Well, amazing enough, the story that and the record that he holds was he's the very first Tsonga gospel artist to appear on TV.
Really?
Singing in Tsonga. Yeah, you can check it out on the SABC. He was the first when it was still TV1.
TV1.
He was the very, very first Lungi Ndala.
Really?
He had a very popular album at the time called Jerusalem, and I remember, and he was working with the legendary Blondie Makene.
Really?
When I was growing up, Blondie Makene would see Vusi Shange. They'll come to Giyani, and he would have concerts, and these guys would be there at home, and so he's been doing this. So I probably picked up from that,
and ran with it.
And
I had somebody saying he studied with not Lindelani Mkhize, but Jabu Hlongwane.
Jabu Hlongwane and Mfundisi Mthunzi Namba.
In the University of
Zululand. Yeah, he graduated there with music. Yeah, he's a music graduate at the University of Zululand, and that's where he met as well, Mfundisi Mthunzi and Pastor Jabu. Yeah.
So is that how you knew them, or was it a coincidence?
It was a coincidence. I think also growing up as well and coming up, then Umfundisi Jabu says, "Hi man, Undala umupi." I was like, "No, I'm Lungi Ndala's son." No man, I studied with your dad. Yeah, I can't do my boss when.
Did you know at that point?
He would tell me, my dad would tell me, I think when as well about Pastor Jabu Joyas was actually even pricking up.
Yeah.
Then my dad would tell me, like, no, these guys, but I studied with them. Like, what do you mean you studied with them? I said, no, I did study with these guys.
Also, did your father influence your writing style? And I ask you this because for your first DVD, I remember your father came in, he did Makweru.
Yeah, Makweru.
And you said, no, he composed that song. I said, is your father a composer? Do you think he influenced it?
He did. I think he did. And I think just the ability to grow up in an environment where you see your dad sing his songs, I think it influenced me. And I remember, probably one of my earliest songs I wrote when we were still starting our church in Zanin. There was a song called Rise Up and Walk, and he just loved the tune that I did. He said, no, we're going to sing this at church. We'll go and sing it as an item. And that's where I remember that's the first time where I actually wrote a song called Rise Up and Walk. Silver and gold I have not, something like that, taken from the book of Acts. Yeah, so I wrote that, and I think that background of being encouraged and hearing Makweru Tiba, I knew that this is my dad's song. So it also, like, by the grace of God, helped me as well to write.
We're going to go in deeper in terms of your writing style.
Yeah.
I've told you, I've relayed the message that I think your writing style is beautiful.
Wow.
Very heartfelt. Do you start with I'll ask you later, do you start with a chorus?
Yeah.
Where does it start?
Yeah.
So, but before we go there, where did you grow up?
So I was born in Giyani. I was born in Giyani. I lived in Giyani for some time, and then I moved to Seshego. I stayed in Seshego for a couple of years. Nature of fact, I always say, my claim to fame at that time in Seshego was that I went to school with the CIC.
Really?
Yeah, we went to school together at high school. Muhlakane, we were together at the same grade, and we stayed in the same zone. Kokasi literally was a street behind me.
Really?
Yeah, that's how my.
Was it radical at that time?
Very, very.
From a very
not,
late-
it's not, if those that people know, they would know that it's not something new. You've always seen it. And he would not play soccer with us. He would be out there, you know. So that's why I grew up in Seshego, then went to live in Ring as well, in Mokopane. Yes. I lived in Ring, then eventually.
If I'm not mistaken, that's your mom's side of the
family.
family.
That's my mom's side of the family. And then I stayed in Zanin as well.
In Zanin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say you stayed in Kuanko. I was going to say Murut.
Yeah. And I stayed in Kwango.
No, you studied in Kuanko.
Yeah, but I stayed in Kwango.
You stayed in Zanin.
No, I stayed in Kwango. I schooled in Kwango. Hudson Tangwis. Yeah,
and you stayed there?
And I stayed there. And my grandmother. I stayed with my grandmother.
Really?
So I stayed in Kwango. Yeah.
I thought you were a cheese boy there.
No, forget the cheese boy, man. It's not. Forget the cheese boy. No, I stayed in Kwango, guys, and I think it helped me as well because, yes, you know, having your family as well being in town, and then there's a kokasi. I think it helped me as well to really reconnect and connect myself to Kasi.
From Seshego to Nkong, you had to learn Tonga then?
Yeah, I had to learn Tonga now because I was now Pedi speaking, and I have to come in and learn Tonga. I think my dad was also intentional to know if this boy stays in town, then he's not gonna learn. He's not gonna learn anything. So I stayed with my grandmother, and I think it was good for me because I developed friendships as well around that. And I think there's a vibe about Kasi.
Yeah.
You know, the babes are good, but there's something about Kasi.
I have to agree with you there. So tell me, when you, how was the shift and the change when you came from Mahwelering, Seshego to Nkuanku?
Yeah. I think, man, it was a very big shift. Yeah. You know, because Mahwelering was very rough. Mm-hmm. All right, it was a very rough Kasi. Things were really, you had to protect yourself. There were times where Central America Tipa, and I was one of those boys.
Really?
So you come out from that kind of a setup, and you come into, get into Nkonko as well. You're chilled, you know. It's church. And most of the guys that saw me when I arrived, they always laugh about it, like, "Hey, you were too rough when you came. You were too wild."
Really?
I was too wild.
So what toned you then?
Church.
That's good.
Church did, because I mean, I would not go to church. I would go to church, but I think because I had the same environment and friends that I kept, and we're just, you know, and I always say, I think God knew by His wisdom and by His grace that I had to move, because if I didn't, I can tell you now, either I would have ended up in prison, I would have probably been dead, or I would have become some very rough criminal.
Really? Because I heard you were a rebel when you got there.
Well, it was not. I promise you, it was like I'm saying. The shift was too much.
It was too much.
And you realize you come into an environment where it's calm. There's no fighting here. You don't have to be part of the. So it means you started the fight then. Like I told you. So.
And I heard you were suspended from school.
Well, it's one of those things.
So then, as a pastor now, you must have an extra level of grace for naughty kids now.
No, you do try. You do try to understand as well. You do try to understand, because some of the things, it's environment as well. That's why you always try to encourage people, even if you have a naughty child or whatever, you try to encourage, even if it's an elderly, fully grown man and you are dealing with issues of life, you have to find first and say, what's your environment like? Where do you live? What's your life like? Because that becomes an impact or an influence into how you do everything else. So a naughty child, you have to first interrogate the environment. I think that's what happened. And for me, I can take a lesson from that.
All right. And because you were rough, did you have encounters with prison?
I only had one. Funny enough, I only had one encounter, but I didn't stay in prison. I was nearly locked. Literally, like, God knew this guy cannot go to prison. Nearly, because I'd gotten naughty in town and I was arrested. They took me to the police station, Komukopan, like I said, you know, and likely my sister came as they took off my belt and told me my laces and everything. As they were leading me to the holding cell, my sister appeared and says, "No, I'm his sister, but okay." Then they signed me out. And that is how I escaped the doors of prison. And never ever would I have wanted to go back.
I'm glad you said that. I'm going to tell you a phrase.
Yeah.
Tell me what's the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Juvenile delinquent.
Right in the courtroom. I'm in the courtroom, I'm standing in the dock, and they're busy dealing with my case, and I hear this word, juvenile delinquent. That's the first time I met the word. I didn't even know what it means. And I knew, and I'm like, what is this juvenile? But no, you're out because of juvenile delinquent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? No, you're too young and whatnot for the crime and everything. And I was let go.
Was that a turning point for you, or was that?
It was. I mean, you really realize, you know what? If you get naughty, man, they're gonna arrest you, and it's not a joke. You know, I mean, to appear in the magistrate court and you're right there in the dock, it's not a joke. And I remember because I didn't even know. I thought, you know, because I attained a criminal record because I did not even know what that meant. I remember I was supposed to travel to the States, and I was scared to go to the U.S. Embassy. I was very scared. And I didn't know because I felt like I've got a record. Then when I got, and I went by faith, and I knew. I even told the guy I was with, I was like, I was once arrested when I was young, man, and I don't know if it's gonna stand against me to go and apply for this visa. I got there, they checked, there was nothing.
There was nothing.
Nothing. So I am a free man.
You're a free man.
Thanks to juvenile delinquents.
I'm glad. Was that the turning around point for you? Was that the?
I think it was part of that. It was part of that. I think one of the turning points is when that particular, I think that time, that year, in actual fact, I failed. I was and here's the thing. The shocking thing is, as an A student or a child at school who goes to number 1, number 2, and that year I failed. And I think it was based on the environment, based on the lack of focus, mentorship. And that turned things around because that was the year where I literally left. I left Mkopane.
I see. The most interesting part is after that, when you moved to Gauteng.
Yeah.
You studied the TT, right?
Yeah, I studied the TT. Yeah.
You studied marketing.
Yeah.
Yes. So at that time, you went into a group, the service Silver Ring.
Yeah, the Silver Ring thing. Yeah.
The only thing in tertiary. But tertiary is when things are happening.
Yeah.
And you had to take a ring that says abstinence.
Abstinence, yeah. And funny enough, I still have the ring. Yeah.
That's good.
I still have the ring.
You must take it off now.
I still have the ring.
Really?
Yeah. This is a silver ring thing. Yeah.
It's still here?
Still here. That's silver ring. First 2034.
In the tertiary.
Yeah.
Any word that starts with abstinence.
Yeah.
It must sit there.
Must sit there.
And how did you channel? Because Madam Ruti, you stayed in Pretoria.
Yeah.
Last time you were in Sunnyside.
Yeah.
When Sunnyside was Sunnyside.
Sunnyside was Eslen was Eslen.
And knowing you, Umajaivan.
Yeah.
So, and that ring.
Yeah.
The three don't mix.
Yeah. I think for me, it's I'm one person. I've always wanted to associate my life with things that may have a meaning and impact. And I think when I was given the opportunity to be part of the Silver Ring thing, first I had to understand what is this program all about. It's not necessarily about this abstinence part. It's the message behind, and what does it mean. And I can tell you now, and unfortunately and sadly so, is that I realized that this program really was needed in the black community more than in other communities, because we grew up in the context of teenage pregnancy, high prevalent rate of HIV.
HIV was rife at that time.
You see. So we grew up like that, broken homes, single parented houses. So you look at that and you realize that I come from that context as a young black man, and for me this message was sitting well, not simply from a place of abstinence only. What it covered as well entirely regarding us, and how can you push this message to say, look, you can be able to abstain not only as a young person, but we're also dealing with those things of HIV and AIDS. So our hospitals are full, people are dying, our young people are dying. What other message do we preach that is able to save our lives? And that was the message that I aligned myself with. And not only that, but they gave me an opportunity to go to America for the first time. I mean, the first time I went to the States was Silver Ring thing. And I stayed there and I explored Washington, Pennsylvania, Mississippi. So I got a chance to also look and live and learn from those guys. And when we came back, it gave me an opportunity to travel the country as well. So I was not only in Pretoria, I was literally traveling the country.
Is it, was it training in America?
Yeah, it was training in America.
Training?
Yeah, it was training in America.
You got training and accent. No, we see, because, I mean, people, when I talk to people who are younger than me, I tell them that, every process that you go through trains you.
Yeah.
So I've seen and I've noticed your excellence in what you do.
Yeah, yeah.
Business,
Yeah,
and a business at church.
yeah, yeah.
Greek.
Yeah, yeah.
Storage.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. You've got a building.
My goodness.
It might look like a small thing.
Yeah.
That thing takes hard work.
Yeah.
Abanye basebenzi nyo.
Sure.
I'm hoping.
If
There was no let me give 10,000. I'll tell you the ID number.
No.
As far as I understand, you've tried to do things by the book.
I've tried because I think at the end of the day, whether I like it or not, one day I'm going to stand before the Lord, and I have to account for whatever I did regarding the church, His church. So I think I've tried. I don't always get it right, but I think the sincerity of my heart is to serve God with pure thoughts and pure intentions, and I think that's what probably people get to see. When they are part of whatever we do, it's the purity of our hearts.
Now, I must be honest. You exude, what do you call it? Honesty.
Yeah.
Remember your second DVD? I said, Muruti, pay everyone else.
Yeah.
After that, I said, no, that's a bad move for a businessman.
Yeah.
Pay everyone else.
Yeah.
Why am I trusting
Yeah.
this? So you've got this honesty about you.
Yeah.
I must give it to you. And you've got this pureness. And not that you're not,
Yeah, you're not. I mean, imperfect.
You've got this great intention about
it.
Great aura. I can put it like
I think I will try. For me, I think that's where it always lays with whatever I do with people. I'm not always perfect. There are some who might probably not think one is a good person to them, but the sincerity of my heart. I always say, if ever I fail you with whatever, trust my heart that I will not hold any evil and have an intention to rob people, to mislead people intentionally. So if ever one has ever misled them, it will not have been that one has just woken up and said, I'm going to do this.
Look, before I jump into your music, I've observed you with your kids.
Yeah.
My goodness. Like, you make me feel like I need to do more. The relationship I've observed you, the relationship you have with your kids.
Yeah.
Is that, where does that come from? Is it the love you got it from home? Or?
I think so. I think like I said initially, I'm also privileged to have a great parents. I'm grateful because I come from a family where parents had separated, and yet in the midst of that there was still so much love that was around us, and eventually I think for me the love that I've seen even my father give to us as his children, that love that he gave, he sacrificed so much to see us have better opportunities in life. I mean, you talk about school, he would make sure that we go to the best schools. We stayed in the BEBs because he would learn to see his family being in a very good environment. Actually the silver ring thing was my father who made the opportunity available for me. So I think having taken from that, I also can't fail my kids, and it must also be said that even if one has never grown up with a father or a parent loving, but if you've got your own children, you can rewrite the story. Because my father himself never had a father. He doesn't know the love of a father. My father never knew, a relationship with his dad. So how does he enable himself to do that to us? There was a change of story somewhere. And I think that's what I do with my kids as well. I'm blessed with 3 girls, and I love them so much because I think I'd love to see them, achieve far greater things than what has done, and whatever love I can give, to them to boost their confidence. I want them to know that they're beautiful not because some other guy told them. They must know that Dad told us, Dad told us we are the best. Dad told us he believes in us, and
Look, with that said, like I told you, I was observing you with your kids. Beautiful. Do you ever have the edge? Boy. Do you have that?
Let me tell you. So initially, I used to have that, right? And we've been having a recent conversation with my wife. It's a hilarious conversation because, man, I've got these girls. Like, I literally even told my girls. Literally, I had a conversation about some days back. I said, guys, you know what? I used to wish I would have a boy. I don't. You guys are a handful. Like, there's no way. You guys make me. I don't even wish. I can tell you now, my kids, man, they are a handful.
Really?
No. Like last number stuff that I think even some boys can't reach that level.
Tatamurut, come to my house. I've got 2 boys.
Yeah.
You know Mohamed?
Yeah.
You know how
Yeah.
how it took him 2 months to get him used to. He had energy. So,
Yeah.
And your kids, they.
I don't know, madam. Have you ended in hospital because of your child? Have you ended in hospital?
Not yet, no.
Have you ever had pimple in their nose, like a pearl in their nose? You know, brother?
My wife will tell you stories. She'll tell you stories.
Yeah.
But you've never had that thing.
Like I'm saying, initially you want to, but I think one of the things I realized that it's not really the gender per se, because you think legacy stuff, right? But I think I've observed, and I want to give you a good example of a popular preacher that we know, Bishop Jakes, where he's got boys and he's got girls, but who is now taking the legacy forward? It's these girls. It's not the boys.
So this thing, your legacy will be pushed by your boys.
It's not. Many people will tell you.
But you're 100%, because when I think of my aunt, the people who came back to fix Go High and whatnot are the females.
You see,
the men have always.
No. So for me, I think it's that thing where I know, yes, it's from a cultural point of view, the boy child is. But I think for me, that's why I said I want to raise my girls to such a place where whatever I've done, they can take it further.
So fair it's a valid image.
No, I can't be doing nappies now in my life. No.
I was telling my wife,
No, I can't.
School fees.
Yeah. The fact that I can talk to a human being who hears me now, I can't go back to have a human being who does not listen to me.
All right. No, I think before we go, people don't know I met Lungi Ndala on a soccer pitch. and we went to this guy's house, rich guy.
Yeah.
He's got a soccer pitch in his house.
Yeah.
It's called by another pastor. Let's go play soccer.
Yeah.
And we're on the same team.
Yes.
Remember?
I remember.
And I passed you. I was passing you, right?
Yes.
I was like, hey, this man, like, touch 1-2, you score.
Yeah.
You could have been a soccer player.
Well, I did. I actually did. In my days, I used to play soccer. And I played soccer, and I wanted to turn pro.
You could have turned pro.
Funny enough, in Mkopani, most of the people that grew up knowing me, they actually honestly thought I was going to be a professional soccer player. Because even in Kokas, this boy he's the one. I mean, I remember one of the accolades I got was the only player to be selected for the provincial squad for Limpopo to represent Great North. Yeah, I was the only player from Kasika, and I was the only boy.
So, I know people are watching here.
Yeah.
Remember the passes I gave you. If you have to rate me up to 10, like, where am
I? And you support some other team. Not because I scored, maybe I'll give you a 7.
It's a distinction, eh? So, let's go now to your music.
Yeah.
When did you realize, okay, this thing, there's a burning desire here?
Yeah.
At what point?
I think when I came back from Mokopane to Zanin, so I was now in church and in my uncle's church, Destiny Foundation. And my father at the time was serving at the church as well as a music leader. Yeah. And I've got my uncle who's playing keys. I've got a cousin of mine, Lungi Ndala. He's playing drums. So, and I'm staying with Temba. So I mean, you can realize your cousin's playing drums, and I'm thinking I must find something as well. Yeah. And my dad started teaching me the keyboard. He started teaching me on C#. And he taught me 3 chords as well, 1 4 5. 1 4 5. And my dad taught me that, and then I think I started then learning how to play music, keyboards, and I was part of the youth choir as well at church. And I remember they gave me a song. Back in the day, I sang a song, which was a joy celebration song, and led by Mfundisi Mtunzi. Uthando olungapheliyo, oluka Jesu ka, nomusa ezuphiwa. So I was given a little role there. And I think when I sang that song in the church, I was like, yeah! And I'm like, I think I love this. And that's where my love for music started at church. Yeah.
But now you play drums, keyboard, and bass.
Yeah.
And I heard you were a mean piano player.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
But
yeah.
Bethesda, there was a jazz gospel.
Yeah, just
But
gospels.
hey, it was Lungi show.
Back in the days, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, no.
But then I was in Pretoria around that time.
Yeah.
I didn't see you play with anyone.
Yeah, no, actually, I think I was mainly a church boy and
Yeah.
a keyboard player, and I used to spend time at the Pretoria Technical or TUT music school in Arcadia.
Oh,
Lisa was the only person
on
who,
church?
Yeah, on church. Yeah, I was always there.
Music concert.
Yeah,
the
the recitals as well. I was always there. The music room, you'll find me, even though I was not a music student.
Yeah.
The guys knew me as if I'm a student there,
Yeah.
because I'll hang around there, and yeah, I love playing keys a lot, and
Really?
and
You
yeah,
still play?
I think now I play because it helps me to compose melody, and I'm grateful because I think even in composition, because I now have melody in my head, I'm able to know how to navigate a particular composition.
So you those artists, if I have to produce you, I'm a ganja.
Yeah,
Like this.
yeah. I would love. Yeah, I'd
do
love
that?
to. Not always, but if I feel like it's changing the tune of whatever I have,
Okay, you
then I'll be able to say.
Let's-
But I always prefer to let people have their own creativity as well. Yeah.
No, I'm glad. And then music groups.
Yeah, I mean, music groups.
Bafana
Bafana Bamoya, Divine Hope.
Divine Hope.
Then when I was in Pretoria, because I mean we students, we
Yeah.
at church, and we got up and hooked up with some of the guys I knew as well. Brian Mlangeni, Quentin Boweni. At the time, I think we had Brilliant Tete, some couple of guys. I think we were about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
We met at my place. I was staying at this place in Pretoria Central, and we said, guys, can we just come together and just rehearse? And then we rehearsed, and then I remember we said, let's come up with a name for this group, because at that time in Pretoria there was musical groups. There was real joy, you know. There was real joy. You've got Pastor D there, and Prestige 7. So it's a musical group, and we felt like, no, man, we need to also come to.
But there were other colors, white, all of you now.
Yeah, no, and actually, I think our white color probably was stolen from Real Joy. Because I remember when I first saw Real Joy, I'm like, man, these guys, they would sing a song called Showers of God Fall on us, let your spirit. If there is a chance, my goodness, that song, it traumatized me.
Do you know which song used to traumatize me? Yeah, Real Joy.
Yeah.
Emmanuel.
When they had the a cappella version.
A cappella. When that Keith
Yeah, and I didn't like how the sisters were screaming for them. It was not nice.
My friend.
It took us out of the spirit.
I was when I saw you guys, even you guys, the ladies were screaming for you guys. How did you survive that?
No, but it was, I think for us it was just the joy of, one, we're singing together, we love music. Two, we can be given a platform. I mean, it was not even about money for us. It was just, we have a platform and we can sing, and we'll be invited there and we sing, and we just love that.
The ladies group.
Well, I mean, look.
I think by now we know that the ladies want power.
Yeah.
If you stand on stage there, it's a problem.
No, I think we were probably some type of a type of a boys to men, because remember that time there were a lot of boys boy groups as well. In Sync was there, you know, Westlife. So I think we probably were the worldly version that was church, and people loved seeing that image as well.
Yeah. But you survived. Look at you.
By the grace of God.
And you composed the songs.
God Divine Hope. Yeah.
God Divine Hope.
Yeah.
Is that where you saw that? You know what? No.
I think so. I think at Divine Hope, that's why I realized. No, I think there's something of an edge in terms of songwriting or composition. We did a song called Satatum Twalo. At that time, we were trying to mix this contemporary and Bakanga thing. And I think when we did that, I realized, okay, I think this is working. And the guys gave me a platform as well to write.
Correct. And Dr. Dumi played keyboard for you guys?
Yeah, at some point, when he was coming up, we were trying to do initially when we wanted to do a recording, Dr. Dumi, and then we chipped in at that time. I mean, he was trying to say, guys, here's a song, here's what I can do for you guys. He gave us about 2 songs, and we tried to make them work,
But you recorded an album, ne?
We did,
I've been looking for that album. No one has it.
No one has. Actually, I just spoke to the guys. I said, I think we need to release it digitally because I think we had beautiful music. So I want us to we were probably going to rework it and just release it digitally, just as a legacy project as well. So people can really know what really Divine Hope was all about. What did we sound like?
Yeah, but at your next DVD, just have one song. Bring the guys.
Bring the guys in, eh? That'll be lovely.
That'll be nice.
That'll be actually lovely.
Take it back.
Yeah, that'll be lovely.
Because
I think that'll be lovely.
I heard you were the main person, composer.
Yeah.
Yes, but who was the Beyonce of the group?
I don't know.
Yeah? Every group has to have a Beyonce. Who was the Beyonce?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know. The other guys were the Beyonces. I think even for now, to have done what I've done by the grace of God through the music, I was just the guy who was at the background, right? I love to hear the music. So the other guys, I mean, you had Brian Mlangeni. I mean, he had cornrows and he had he was looking like Flash. You had Quentin Bowen as well. Yeah. So the guys were good, eh?
The Lily Commission.
Yeah, we're like, hey. The voice of the spirit. Yeah.
But did you have a cordial relationship with other groups? Because I know Real Joy did a couple of concerts with Prestige 7.
Yeah.
But you guys, the little gang fell.
We were. I mean, I remember there was also a group that Takindo belonged to. I think they were called Friends.
Yeah.
They were coming from Joburg, so we've done shows with Friends as well. We've done shows where there was Real Joy as well. So there was not, I would say, beef, but we really
kept it clean.
We kept it clean and admiring what other people are doing. And I think for us as Divine Hope at that time, we didn't really see ourselves as the best group. So we took time to learn from as many people as we could, and that made us to become, who we were.
Oh wow! And then. Your album, did you guys make money from
Zilch?
But I heard you guys performed at the 2010.
There's no money. There's nothing. I kid you not. What we wanted.
Exposure.
Man, it's 2010. You are here. Can you allow us to be at the World Cup at least to have a story to tell our grandchildren?
Yeah.
That there was a World Cup.
Yeah.
I was also on the stage.
I was
there. I performed at the World Cup. And
that's what paid you guys.
But they didn't give nothing. It was just transport and stuff. Probably they might have ripped us off. So chances are that because they just saw these guys who wanted an opportunity. To wear Bafana shirts, stand on stage.
So you guys performed gospel on that stage?
Yeah, and funny enough, the one place Polokwane where we performed to an empty fan park.
There was a lot of them.
There was a lot of empty fan parks. I mean, we were pumping ourselves up backstage, pumping ourselves up. We're going to do this.
Get there.
We got the welcome, Divine Hope, and boom, lo and behold, it's only my sisters who are right in front.
Yeah.
My cousins. I promise you, it was empty and we performed. I think the best place where we performed was Newtown, because when we came to Newtown, Newtown was packed. Newtown Square was packed, and that's where we performed the World Cup as Divine Hope.
I see. So now the music scene go Zanin.
Yeah.
Now I know. Let me not say Zanin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Tsonga music.
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah.
Kenishi Bambo.
Yeah.
Mabongi.
Yeah.
Job.
Yeah.
Those are the four prominent Tsonga people.
Yeah.
Mabongi I think made me listen to Tsonga music.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do it in Tsonga like this.
Wow.
Because Shikuringwan.
Yes.
And then the fast songs.
Yeah.
But no, Mabongi could take the Tsonga song.
The Tsonga song, man. She would
nail it.
Yeah.
So I was introduced as I'd say Mabongi, and then you came. Yes, Utabonisa.
Yeah, Utabonisa Utumzami.
I was like, what? So you can actually, was there a good culture of music?
I think Tsonga music, it's quite rich, Yeah. It's just that in the gospel space, we've never had that prominence.
Correct. Yes.
And also to be, I think sometimes to be confident enough to say, here's my offering and here is in Tsonga.
Yeah.
And so I think there was probably a change that had to happen. And I think for me, that's one of the things that I would come into the space to say, I would also want to sing in my own language as well.
Yeah.
And I think Yes Ota Ponisa was one of the songs. There's a song that has been so popular for over the years in Mgano Nene Nzipfune. We wrote Asunga Fanelanga, and I think it was just the intentionality of saying, I want even those who are stronger musicians to be confident,
to be inspired,
and to be inspired to say, we know we can write. And I mean, if you remember, there was a Joyous that took a song Hallelujah Nkateko and sang with it. You know, so I think for me that has been my approach to stronger music, because I think that language is important, you know, for a people, and for us to know how to worship God in a particular language, our language. You know, so
is that where you adopted the Shona? Because
yeah, mom is Shona as well. Yeah.
Oh, mom is Shona.
Yeah, my mom is also Shona.
Oh, okay. There's a beautiful song I still play today.
Yeah.
Now interview.
Simuza.
Oh.
Maoko ako. Urimbidze mwari. Yeah.
Yeah. That song. I was like, is this man listening to what he's doing?
Yeah.
And the band there. Oh my goodness.
My goodness. I know you've always loved that band. I know you've loved that band.
But one of the first DVD, I always told you, your music, your songwriting, beautiful.
Wow.
But that first band,
yeah.
I don't know if it's Job.
Yeah.
Or the band. The band now is, I was at your DVD now,
Yeah.
Victoria's Praise. You can't fault them.
Sure.
Beautiful. But that first one, I don't know, man. Or no, 30-day fasting morning. Something was up there. And how important is your wife's support to you?
Extremely important. I think I always say that sometimes people see what one does and celebrate that one does as their person. Yeah. But there's a lot of strong support and immense support that one gets behind the scenes. And I think just to be in agreement, I think one of the things, you know, you are in this business of music and production. Just to be in that business where you look at a quotation that comes and it's a bill for a recording. To have a partner that says, yes, let's do it. Because that's money coming from the family. I don't have a recording company that's paying for it. There's no sponsor paying for it. So it's money that one has to save up or whatever, and you have to pay. So to have someone says, yes, I see this hundreds of thousands is leaving the family, which could be staying in the family.
Correct.
But yeah, go and do it. I support you.
That one I see. When you said, baby, I don't know what you call each other.
Yeah.
I'm leaving work. I'm going full-time ministry.
Yeah.
Did she not tell you about weave?
And as, to the point, to say, if you have someone who, she always calls me Vuya with your big dreams. So she says, you Vuya with your big dreams. She says, Vuya with your big dreams. And she always says, your dreams are costly. But not only that, but I think her trust and her belief in these crazy dreams, I think is what has made everything work. Because I would think something, I'm living corporate. I mean, I'm living a well-secured job. I'm doing very well. I'm earning very well. I've got all the benefits, everything. I'm okay. And I'm leaving that comfort to a place of no guaranteed salary, no guaranteed benefits, nothing at all.
It's just the sun. Cool.
And it says, okay, if you believe it, you believe God, you're the head of the house. I'm going to trust you. Let's go.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
And then we went. And by God's grace, I think God has also blessed her belief.
That sounds like my wife.
Yeah.
She'll believe you, ne?
Yeah.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
But when she opens her mouth, it's no, I can see she's got you on a leash.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah, very important. Very important.
Hey.
Very important for
these
that.
Quiet ones.
No, very important. When they speak, they would.
You'll know.
You feel like one word has covered 10,000 words. Yeah.
And as a musician, what relationships did you have with pastors?
Yeah.
Was it
I think for me, my relationship within church as well. I think number one, I've always belonged to a church before I have a relationship with pastors. I've always belonged to. I've never had that special thing first with a pastor. I've always belonged to church, served in church, and all the churches that I've had to serve in, I'm remembered well.
Yeah.
I'm remembered well, and there's not even one pastor or a congregation that says this young man at this time when he was with us, he gave us issues.
Yeah.
I remember the congregation that I served, faithfully so. Destiny Foundation, Agape, Cathedral, Bethesda. I serve Greek. I serve Greek as well.
But you're a big deal for Bethesda. I heard Muruti even took you overseas.
Yeah, I went to the States with him. Yeah.
So I know Muruti, you are a pastor of extremes.
Well, no, I mean, it's also the serving as well. I think, if you serve well, and at that time, the favor that I got, I believe it was also the grace of God.
Yeah.
Because to have an opportunity to travel with the men of God and to be, one of the few, amongst many thousands of people there.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who serve there. I know some of the pastors that were there.
Yeah.
Him choosing you, he must have seen something.
Yeah.
In you.
Yeah.
Something great.
Yeah.
I must add.
Yeah.
So that was amazing, and I don't want to ask how you feel about the church right now after what happened.
Yeah.
I'm also heartbroken because I think everyone who was a Christian in Pretoria, it was Bethesda, it was Lighthouse, it was a third one.
Yeah, there was also TOG as well, Tower of Grace was
TOG, yes. More like Shapaki language.
Yeah.
The music was great. Bethesda, the music was great. And so for you're a man of extremes.
Yeah.
Nearly went to prison.
My goodness. And there you are on a flight to JF Kennedy. Yeah, international airport.
Exactly. Now I will travel to Africa. I'm still waiting for 24 hours. I don't know how long it is.
Man, it took me, I remember the last I did, it was 18 hours.
18 hours.
My goodness. You sleep, you wake up, and you feel like, what's going on? You wake up, you're still flying.
Now I'm going to travel. Passport to Africa. We'll get there.
You've done well.
So, no.
Travel Africa.
No. I must stick around you.
Yeah.
But when you're with certain people, you realize, no. I'm still on my way. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So, I think the most important question I want to ask you is, you've come from both sides.
Yeah.
You're a musician.
Yeah.
Served. You are a pastor now.
Yeah.
Now, musicians are serving under you.
Yeah.
Where are musicians and pastors missing each other?
Yeah, I think for me the conversation around musicians and pastors, it's a conversation that I'm also deeply passionate about, and I think I can speak from both ends because I've served in a church context as a musician, and I'm serving the church as a pastor.
Yeah.
So I think it starts with how the foundation has been about church. And there was, I remember talking to one of our prominent musicians in South Africa, and he said to me, when we started introducing money, because we grew up with the crusades. Back home, there were crusades, there were churches, there were churches. We never used to hear this thing about Patelo to musicians.
Yeah.
Many of the guys that came, there's a crop of us, I can tell you now, we came from a context of, we don't know that thing of Rapatelo or whatever. And I think the tension started there.
Really?
Where money got in from a place of serving, and there was this thing that became a dividing wall. And also because then, what do you call musicians look at pastors as an enemy, pastors look at the musicians as an enemy. Others now could no longer play because they cannot be paid. I don't come from that context, and that's what I'm saying. It's also very important for me to also qualify that I probably will not speak from a person who's been paid, because I served my life. The churches that you talk about, as big, as great as Bethesda was, not even once can they tell you that they paid me. That's not paid.
But however, one have to look at it in both ways. I think back then, there was a few people around us who took music as a career.
As a career,
So at what point you've got a drummer,
Yeah.
very good drummer.
Yeah.
And we see, okay, he's studying music, or doesn't even have to study. But
Yeah.
you can see this person now. This is the only thing they do. Is it not a noble thing to say we need to pay a particular individual?
Very much so. I think for me, as I'm saying, I don't want to create a pond where it's about musicians and pastors in church. I think there's a lot of other things that are happening in church that are far more important than the conversation of musicians and pastors.
Yep.
That's what I believe. You know, someone can differ, and they're okay. They can differ with that perspective. That's the perspective I hold. Now, to the point, I think let's backtrack. To the point, how you get introduced into a church is very important. Are you coming there as a worker? Are you coming there as a believer?
Okay.
It's very important. Are you coming there because you believe in what is going on in that church? Or are you coming there because they've given you the money? Now, to your point, if someone is studying and someone is in music and their source of or livelihood is going to center around that.
Yes.
Yes, it will be. I think it will be noble to say, as this person serves in the church, right? What can we do to enable them to, one, looking at the input that they put into the church? What is the input that they are bringing into the church, right? And what can we do to be able to be a blessing so that they can also live out their lives and whatever source. So even when people are studying, well, let's ask ourselves as well, or when you're at music school, are you saying at music school, I'm studying to go and work at a church? Or are you studying as a musician to go and make money via music?
Yep.
Right? They're studying, just as when I studied marketing because I knew, okay, one of the things I want to do is I want to go work for Head Boys. As an advertising agency. I'm studying already, but I know, where do I want to go and work?
Correct, yes.
So if you're studying, the question should be, what do you want to do? Are you going to work at church? If the answer is yes, nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want, right? But are you studying to be saying, I'm going to make money or make a living via music? And if that's the case, then music also has a different avenues. It's not only church alone that you can be able to make money from. It's not church alone, but we've made it look like church is the only place where certain musicians can only make money.
I think what I'm asking is, you are absolutely right when you said it depends on how you came in.
Yeah.
But if you say you desperately need a piano player in your church,
Yeah.
and you find this guy, he's a piano player, you say, come and play.
Yeah.
Surely you should remunerate him.
For me, and please understand, I'm not in a position where I'm saying musicians should not be blessed, or like you said, the noble way of saying as a church, let's remunerate these people. It should be. Here's the other thing I think for me becomes very important. It's as you remunerate a person. I give you a good example. One has a PA, one has an administrator, one has an accountant working in the church. The question is that professional that is working in the church, are we only paying them when they count money? Sunday.
Or is it a continuous work?
Is it a continuous work? That's where my problem is. Am I paying that accountant to do only Sunday or currently do offering, Manelo, whatever, and then utlofa mamang ayulo banker, referi tseka wena, reto patela because you currently Manelo. That's not what happens. Let's say as a pastor where you are being remunerated in the church, are you being remunerated because you are preaching on Sunday?
On Sunday, yes.
Is that what you are remunerated for? Because if really there's a pastor who's being remunerated for just preaching on a Sunday only, then you are stealing from the church. You are robbing the church. Because there's no way you are being remunerated for just when we go pulpit Sunday for maybe an hour to a half an hour, an hour and a half, and you're saying that's what you must be remunerated for.
Yeah,
that's not right. Because the remuneration says, I'm pastoring. And I pastor every day.
Every day.
I pastor, show my phone. I've got calls every day. I've got messages that come in at 10 at night. Pastor, I've just done this. My child has gone to hospital. Please pray with us. Pastor, we need you to come to our house. There's a thing like this. It's way on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So, to the point of remuneration, if you are in need of someone to come and serve in the music, the question is, do you have a proper description that outlines what are your expectations for this person? For me, it's a challenge when we then view ourselves as Sunday sessionists, because that's all we do. We come in, or it's a rehearsal, Sunday, that's it.
Yeah.
Then we are detached from the work of the church. We are detached from anything that takes place in the church. I think that's a conversation that we probably need to look at, even as believers. Say, is that really fair?
People will look at the church as, it seems like the arts are things that are taken advantage of, because one person has once made an example. If a psychologist comes to church, why can't the same be done with church workers, especially musicians? And I heard what you said. 100% we should have conversations about ushers, car guards, because when you're preaching there, you don't want stress. Things need to run. But these conversations, we should not be saying, but what about them? Can we not deal with every department?
I think for me, we must deal with the church issues holistically. Here's the one you gave an example of people who are looking after our cars, protocol and order. I had a pastor one day during a church service. You've got musicians that you are paying, they're inside the church playing. It's nice praise and worship. Kid you not, true story. On a Sunday, they after church went out. Guess what? 2 cars were missing from the church parking lot.
Yes.
Then what do you say to the importance of conversation of pastors and musicians? Here are 2 cars that have missed, have gone out, they're stolen. Because we don't think, now we've put some other people here and others are just seemingly like here. So the car guards are not important. A family has just lost a car. While you are having Alpha and Omega moment. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for me, we have to understand that you can't look at something above the other. It might be that the remuneration level, it's just in any corporate. The remuneration levels might not be the same.
Might not be 100%.
But we are all workers there. We are all part of this vision, 100%. Serving there. You see, and you can't want to make someone as more important. Then I think if you're done playing Alpha and Omega, can you please go to the parking lot and look after the cars? If you're done after playing Alpha and Omega, can you please go to children's church and teach those little kids? Do you have the heart and the patience to teach those kids?
For them,
You see, so for me, it's a conversation I'm not saying it must be in isolation and we treat this, because that's where the danger comes in. When as you said in your conversation, that the issue of pastors and musicians. Why are we not hearing pastors and protocol? Why are we not hearing pastors and intercession?
It seems like it's a prominent issue, and when you talk in corners, musicians come and say, some musicians come and say, no, we're broken by pastors. We were promised this, and it didn't happen.
That's true. It happens. It happens. Unfortunately, yes, there are times where you deal with dishonest leaders. You see, it happens.
Is it really dishonesty, or is it you exercising your faith? No, man. We're growing. Come, guys. Let's make this happen, and it doesn't work out like that. Do you think?
I think it's dishonesty as well, because I think if you are going to invite people to come and be a part of what God is building, and there are certain promises that are made, I think it will be good to stick to your promises. If the promise is not being fulfilled, communicate. Still call the guys and say, guys, here's what is happening. There's 1, 2, and 3 that's happening. It's based on what I said. You see, but when you don't talk to the guys, but they're here because you promised, then that's what they're going to be. Guys are going to be hurt. Guys will feel cheated. They'll have a bitterness towards the church because there was no honest conversation. And to another point as well, if your introduction to that ministry is really money, what it means is you're a commodity. You can be bought. So what it means, it's just only the next big church that says, I'll give you more than that. Then you're gone. Then how then do you navigate your life? Is it all about, or whoever gives me the biggest paycheck, that's where I'm going?
But I think you know that the life of a musician it can be uphill, because
very much so.
It can be an uphill, and I think I was around them enough to see. I don't know if you know, I was in music, and until I saw, because when you start off, church is your platform. Until I said, I don't want to live like this.
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm done here, because it's an uphill, you know.
It is.
After I've given my all cooking, and I get to my flat there, in my and I don't even have bread to eat.
Look, I'm saying to you, I grew up and I came up in that kind of a context.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, I've been in church where I would play and everything happens. I would leave on a Sunday. Nobody cared what I ate.
Yeah.
Nobody cared to ask me on a rent. Nobody cared to do that. I'll come back to bread and eggs. After having played probably others by Jagadi 7 colors,
100%.
I'll come back to bread and eggs Liga Oros on a Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
Right? And I think it's one of the things that in my heart I felt I needed to look out for when the Lord now opened the door for ministry. I've always had that caution within our congregation to just be able to look after some of these young guys, that I know you're not working. You see, we've got different kinds of musicians. There are musicians in our church who are professional. They're not professional. They are musicians. They can play, but they've got jobs.
They've got jobs, yes.
And guess what? There's no payment there. Nothing. And they've never created an expectation of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because God has provided an avenue. But then if someone, like you said, who's full-time into this and whatever, I think it would be kind to say, you know what? Maybe I might not be able to reach that, but here's what I'm able to do. To make sure that you don't leave. I think for me, like I'm saying, the pain I felt of leaving and then can you please leave at least have a McD, have a Nando's, have something that at least can you have that?
You see, my biggest issue is, as a person who has been in worship team in a good number of years, I don't remember once a pastor saying, guys, put those things down. Let me take you guys to Nando's. As an example. Spray. Appreciate you. A lot of churches have got pastors' appreciation. They appreciate, but I feel like musicians, and I know I'm isolating them. Pastors, why just musicians? This time I'm just talking about musicians. I feel like there should be a way. No, guys, let's have a bribe for the worship team. You know, the only thing I've ever had is, guys, especially in Izandla. It's great, but I've never had, guys, I appreciate you guys. We're not at a point where we can remunerate some of you or all of you. And it's a common phenomenon that the band is the Beyoncés of the worship team. You know, you need to have a good pianist, a good drummer. Even for you, if you're going there and there's a song, the keyboard doesn't get it, it can throw you off. And I feel like as much as we need to look out for all church workers, musicians, we need to really look at, because we can't be having this cloud all the time.
You know, for me, it's the thing I want to ask you. It's like you've got someone serving in the media team. Okay, they run the stream for you. Are they less of a person important to the drama sitting there if you are doing streaming?
I'm not. And I'm still saying, at this point, I want to talk about musicians because we're following conversations.
So here's what I want you to do as well.
We're following conversations. So conversations, I've never had a sound guy saying, hey, bang, Ropa. I've actually had sound guys saying, hey, we're getting paid, they're so doing. In the contrary. But musicians, it's a constant conversation. Hey, you know what? We were promised this has never happened. And it feels like we are the plague of the church. It looks like we want money.
Honestly speaking, I think, like I'm saying, it's there's a point where things got messy with regard to musicians in the church and everything else. Because when other people started introducing money into the equation, they would take a young boy who's playing drums at one church and said, how about Fisilo? Come, go for 500. Then the boy gets up, he goes and gets 500. And next thing someone says, Udlala sharp man, let me give you 1,000, come on. Then the boy, now the habit, he starts saying his friends, hey, Pilanabam, and that's how you now spoil the whole thing. And it's true to your point. Yes, we know that there's a difficulty with musicians and stuff. I mean, I'm now pastoring a church, I have a holistic view. I don't have one portion of the church. I know that there are people who are serving in our ushering who are also struggling. And there are times where you have to be able to say, here's something to be able to meet some things.
Correct.
I understand that. Because I'm not looking at ministry from that one point. I have a view of everything in the ministry. I have a view of every need inside the church. And that's why sometimes people think maybe you are just disregarding the musicians, but you as a leader, you're not looking at this one pillar. There's other 7 pillars that you know that there's this person who's serving mothers, children's church.
Very important. I understand.
But they're struggling to just make ends meet. So what do you do?
100%.
You see?
Yeah.
So for me, it's let's make sure that yes, I'm totally not against remuneration.
Yeah.
If then there is remuneration, what does the description say?
100%.
Am I only benefiting from you sitting there on a Sunday morning for 40 minutes? Is that what I'm really looking at? Or I'm saying there's a benefit to it that says this person is totally employed by the church.
100%.
So if you're employed by the church, which means that just like every other worker of the church shows up on Monday to work, you also show up to work.
Okay. This one, it's like an elephant.
Yeah.
Now we've eaten the nail.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
Yeah.
We'll revisit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we had to lay a foundation in this one.
Hopefully the other pastors will help us too.
100%. But when it comes to the church, I think there's a lot of ways of making money in church.
Yeah.
And I want to pick your brain on this one.
Yeah.
Your background is marketing.
Yeah.
And you're very good at it.
Yeah.
I'm aware of it. But would you be opposed to this idea?
Yeah.
We've got screens in church.
Yeah.
Are you telling me advertising cannot work in church?
Yeah.
So say you say there's a food lovers market not far from the church.
Yeah.
And after intercession, when people are waiting for the service to start, we play adverts.
Yeah.
And they say if you come with this code to this food lovers, we've got pack of potatoes, whatever, there's a special. You get a 20% discount because you were from this church.
Yeah. And
the church gets that money.
Yeah.
Digital has made it possible.
Yeah.
Most churches now have got screens. Are you telling me that's an avenue we can't
it's a I think one of the things you want to do is to Jesus Christ's point when he came to the temple and found them trading, and he took out the whip and whipped the people.
But Muruti,
Wait.
most churches have got cafes.
Wait. Here's what I'm saying. I'm driving to a point.
Yeah.
If it ultimately then turns the people of God into products and a captured market, and you're saying the people that are coming there, you now see them as commodity to be sold. I think there are opportunities that church can be able to make money, but we should not be driven to such a point where we start seeing the people of God as commodity. Because remember, if I'm sitting with a captured audience of 5,000 people at a seating, and I can go and sell it, that's commodity. I'm selling them. I'm saying, look, here's how many people sit in our service, and you can be able to advertise, and we'll be able to make money, right? How are we making money? We're making money off the people. So I'm saying, there's a fine line between being creative in making money as a church, and also now selling God's people as a commodity. Okay. Because remember, the congregants are sitting there. As much as they're members of your church, these are God's people.
Yep.
So do not find yourself in a position where you now turn God's people into a commodity for you, right? As long as the opportunity does not, at the end of the day, you find that there are some people who overdo it, whereby it's like now you get as many products in, bring them in. When I'll give you, even after worship, there's a slot, a minute, it will screen. And when after offering, there's another one, you will screen. And when I can put you just before the word, and when people are listening to me the most, I'll screen. Then you realize there's a problem, because how far then do we go? How far do we stretch it? In terms of,
I think those are semantics we can always go back and look at. But I think for the most part, those, whether it's banners, I feel like there's especially in church. Bazanan, they watch TV. When they leave your church, there's a billboard. Oh, the Spur. They go to Spur. The same.
The opportunity is there. I think for me, I also believe in the sacredness of church.
Church, no?
I also believe in that. The sacredness of a church. There has to still be the sacredness of this institution called church. I think we mustn't move too much into being too commercial, that we lose the sacredness. That Ntwela, I don't know how to explain, but it's that thing when people think of church as the advert yeah, what today I give you Pick and Pay whatever. Hey, I give you pastor today. Hey, maybe it's so bright today. Hey, I want someone to say I've gone to the house of the Lord. I didn't see what I saw on my TV. I'm seeing it in the house of the Lord.
The house of the Lord.
I must be at the house of the Lord. I must know I've come to church.
But do you agree that if done correctly, it could be an avenue?
Definitely. I mean, like I'm saying, there's always, you can probably do even market day, where you're saying, look, it's market day. In market day, you invite corporates and whatever, here's a slot. It's market day. It's not always.
Not always.
It's market day. And the way we are doing, we're even encouraging people who are in business in our church to say, listen, give us your products. Let's do a magazine for the church. It's market day. We expose your businesses. We expose the opportunities that lie within the church.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, I had someone in our church, someone actually recently tagged me on a church post. They were in church. They tagged our church on Instagram. And I looked at that post and I went to click on that person and only to find this person does incredible things, and incredible. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. That this person is sitting in our church and this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
So when you create such stuff, then you can invite corporate and say, look, we've got open market day at our church.
So you're saying everything needs to have a slot.
Everything has to have a slot, but the sacredness of church must remain. Let's not push money to the point where we really commercialize too much. Otherwise, Jesus himself will come into his church and whip you. And he says, my Father's house shall be the house of prayer.
No, 100%. I just feel like the church has got so much influence, and there's much more that can still be done.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I'm still waiting for inter-church football league or a golf tournament. I feel like there's a lot of churches in isolation. Then we can pick, a soccer player that will go in the ranks. And then we say, okay, the church has, groomed them.
Very true.
And done something, for. I think those things. There's a lot that we can do, and I 100% agree with you that. So I agree with you.
No, very true.
Like I told you.
Yeah.
So the last portion I want to do with you, it's where I ask you tough questions now.
Okay.
No, when I'm I had to tread carefully. So I spoke about your songwriting.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And I was open to you about this. I said, you need to write for other people as well.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I feel like your writing skill is I like traditional gospel.
Yeah.
You can see most of my CDs.
Yeah.
Traditional, I love my traditional gospel, and you're on the money.
Yeah.
I feel like you should also write for other people. But the question I need to ask you is, I observe you when you are singing there. Do you feel like sometimes frustrated in your vocal abilities? Or, I want to take the song there, man.
Yeah.
But good luck at Kefella.
Yeah. I think that's a good question. Because I think for me, one, I didn't come in the industry because I think I can sing. Nah. And I'm fully aware that there are people who are far more gifted, who can really do amazing things. So that's number one. I'm not one of those. In a room full of 10 probably singers, I'll be number 10. Right? The thing about it, and that's why I've come to a place where in my singing I'm comfortable where I am.
Yep.
I know, we've had a conversation with my producer, Cole. We're talking about comfortable keys that I know that now. I think first album, second album probably did not get to know it very well. But I think now I've come to a place where I know this key works for my voice, for my range. I'm not going to try and do anything else. And even in my leading, I know now how comfortable I am. You see, I will not shoot it like a doctor to me. I will not shoot it like a takindo, but there's a way in which I deliver. So initially, yes, I would wish I had a particular ability vocally. But until I knew that there's a music, it's not just only about just the vocal
ability.
There is an ability. There are people with great vocals, but they can't deliver a song.
Correct.
And they can't deliver the message. And I think for me, my music, most of the time, is you hear me deliver the message. I'm trying to.
Is it also invoking emotions and
It's that for me, and I think it's sincerity of how I deliver that message. You'll hear it, even though even the voice might not be as great, but you'll hear that I'm trying to get you somewhere in however I sing. So I've moved away from trying to be somewhere vocally. I mean, there's a Mngobi from Joyous. I mean, Mngobi would hit. There's an Ayanda and Tanzi. They would hit the notes. They've got ranges and stuff, and I'm not there. You know, I am at Pastor Lungi. I want someone to know, once I get on stage, you must know what to expect. You know he's going to deliver, and he's going to make sure that you hear what he's about to say.
Correct, and have a good time.
And you're going to have a good time. That's where I am. I'm no longer at the vocal. I think I've matured enough now in my music. I'm no longer crying for that. Initially, I wanted that.
But after everything is said and done, you are human as well.
Yeah.
The criticism, has it gotten to you?
It did initially. I remember when we did our first album, and I was criticized. I remember my wife even said, "Why do you want to do this?" I saw stuff on Facebook and people write, and I think it gave me a baptism of fire into putting yourself in public. Because if you want to be in the public face, you must be open for public opinion.
Yes. And
everybody will have an opinion based on whatever. Yeah. So I saw that criticism. Hey, he can't sing, can't hold a note, can't. Did the second album. So if I had listened to the first criticism, there will not be Keleboga Jesu.
100%.
They will not be there. There will not be this God that we serve. Because I would have thought, but I can obey, I can't say. Then I leave it. But that criticism for me gave me a thick skin. And thank God, because as a leader as well within a congregation, I have learned to have a thick skin.
Correct.
Because even as I preach, not everybody likes your preaching.
100%.
Not everybody likes your leading style. Not everybody thinks your church is great. So that gives me a thick skin as a leader. Not that I don't hear. I can hear. I mean, you can even, my friend Dr. Tumi knows. One day I went to his house. I'm like, my friend, so help me out here. I need to know how to sing. How do we do it properly? You can ask him. So he's like, okay, let's find the comfortable key.
Yes.
And I said, we start there. We start by finding a comfortable key. And because I know that there's certain things I lack with, so I'm able to go to someone and say, help me out. If this is what I get the criticism on, I don't take it into a negative thing. I'll take it and say, okay, let me see what I can do with it.
I remember I came to see you, go office. You were down. Murudu, what's happening? The baptism of fire I'm getting on Twitter about my singing. It nearly got me down. How did you come out of it?
Like I'm saying, I think the other thing is,
did you decide, you know what, I don't care what everyone says. I'm just gonna do me.
I think that's the attitude I had. And most importantly, I asked myself, the one who's criticizing you, what have they done? What have they done?
Valid point.
I asked myself that.
I always view you as the I might be head of this. I might be head for this, but you're like, for me, the Kirk Franklin of what you do. You know, beautiful music. Beautiful songwriter. Hold the note. You can do what you need to do, but what you do great. So I'll give you up for that. And do you believe we exist in a paradigm shift where I don't want to say musicians, but say musicians who are not the most vocally talented are the ones who grab the smallest chances in life?
Because remember, when you don't fall, you're not really falling on your own ability. You literally then go to some other place where you're saying, Lord, I don't have this. I don't have that. It's a David with Goliath. I don't have a sword. I've got a stone and a sling. And I think for me, it has put me in that position where I know that as I stand, people are not clapping hands for my great vocal abilities. I know that. So it doesn't make me to also be in a place where I almost want to assume this glory for myself. And I'm always saying, Lord, my sincere prayer is, Lord, as I stand, use me in whichever way. Use my voice. As limited as it is, use it. That someone would hear. And I mean, I would watch and I'll stand on stage, sing, and I would watch people cry. And I'm asking myself, definitely you're not crying because of my voice. There's something that goes beyond that voice. and that's when the Spirit of God. And so the people who probably are not as gifted, and we overwork, because that's why even in my writing, I must write something that has to work.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't have the voice to carry an average song.
So it needs to balance.
So I have to write a great song.
Yeah.
Because then that great song must carry that limited voice to go.
So I was aware of your producers, Tommy Lily Job.
Yeah.
I think he also did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Work, and then now you're with Koli.
Yeah.
How involved are you with the production?
I am involved because I think from the start, and I think one of the things as well I love is, be it with Job, I mean, I'm still a great friend of mine, and I love the fact, even now when I was recording, he came to the office like, yeah, I was coming to just check on you, sharp, you know, and that's the relationship I have with the guys. And I think for me, my relationship with the guys who produce my music is just not on the music stage.
Yeah.
I literally have a relationship with them outside. We talk, we eat together. When there's no show, we still sit and eat and just talk and laugh. And with Koli as well, one thing I love is, I always say, I come with the skeleton. Koli puts the human, the flesh. He makes it look like a human being.
How good is that guy?
He is.
It's great, no?
So I can come with a song. I literally, many times you can ask. I always give him a song. Says, Koli, here's a song. This is how it goes. Mana, 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 mana. Okay. And he says, and then what else do you hear? I'm like, okay, I hear mana, mana, mana. He says, okay, fine. Are you happy? I'm happy. He goes and puts the flesh and everything to hear the song the way it is. I mean, I don't come up with the intros.
Yeah.
I don't come up with the breaks. I don't come up with the outros. No, it's stuff that the color that he puts in.
It's amazing.
And for me, that's why I'm thinking he's probably one person who gets me.
Who gets you there? And music production has moved.
Yeah.
Drummers or bass guitarists also make the song.
Yeah.
Do you view them as producers? And
Yeah.
Do they get the necessary royalties? Because you look at a drummer like Sam.
Yeah.
You say, no, come on, find a bridge.
Yeah.
And you go for it. Do musicians then get remunerated for that? Or is it
I think we need to migrate to that. Actually, it's important to have that kind of a thing, especially the arrangement of things, because you know, even though you're a composer of a song, but you're probably not the arranger.
Correct.
There are people who have arranged
100%.
the music. So I think in the royalties or listing, it's important to also let the guys, you know, be able to have their share as an arranger.
Correct.
Of that. You can come up with a melody as a composer or whatever, but I think
sometimes a bass line makes the music.
it can make the music.
There's songs that I remember the bass line.
Yeah.
Song.
Yeah.
Songs that I remember the piano.
Yeah.
And the songs you can hear them, and the band is just carrying
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah.
And the difficulty of being a musician now is it's not just a simple bakanga beat.
Yeah.
How do you compose a pattern for drummers
for that drummer? Yeah.
for that song?
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
In the past, this kind of song, you know.
Yeah.
But now,
there are ways. I mean, like I'm saying, you said that guys who are drummers, who are bassists.
Yeah.
I mean, they are producers and they have an influence. I mean, I could tell you with the recent recording we also did with Sabu as well, the influence that he would have.
Correct.
In terms of how the song comes out and how he remembers the lines. Sometimes you find out we don't remember, so he remembers and he'll tell me, hey, I see you, Baba, I see. So.
Because in the past, drummers you just
No, they just come and play, and they're the ones who are being told. So it's nice, especially when you have a team like that around you. I think it's beautiful.
I feel like me and you are gonna go on and on, ne? So that I can have you again.
Yeah.
I wanna pause it here, ne?
All right.
Before you go, I'd like you to play a small game with you, ne?
Yeah.
Please, if we can, it goes in line with what we need to do.
Okay.
As a podcast.
Yeah.
I told you the bigger vision. We need to host bigger gospel festivals.
Yeah.
Where I feel gospel musicians need to work more.
Yeah.
We bring different kinds of gospel musicians
Okay.
that can come. So this is recorded. It's gonna go into a chart.
Yeah.
And the artists, I think the top 10 artists
Yeah.
with the most
Yeah.
ticks
Yeah.
will hopefully invite them for that concert.
Okay.
You know? So the game is very simple, is how well do you know your South African gospel artists?
Okay.
Ne?
Okay.
So you've got a church service.
Yeah.
It's a scenario. You've got a church service. I'm going to give you different categories. You will tell me who is best to lead
Okay.
this
Okay.
this song. Ne?
All right.
You don't have to explain it. I want a name.
Yeah.
I don't want, because this one,
Yeah.
hey, he was anointed.
No.
Which one?
Okay.
Ne? So the rules are very simple. You can only select yourself once.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Lungi can't do this.
I was about to say, whatever's coming up.
You can't duplicate. Ne? Only one international artist.
Okay.
You have to have a female artist. And you've got 5 seconds to choose.
On the international, yes, female.
You've
Okay.
got 5 seconds for your answers.
Okay, cool.
Ne? So, let's go into the demo route. Okay. Church service starts, ne? You want somebody who will do a song that will make everyone feel welcome. But that welcome. You know what? If this one gets this first song, no. Even if I'm getting so dollar, you just sing along.
Spoon Noah.
There we go. An artist to make everyone sing along.
Pastor Lungi Ndala.
You know those soulful mid-tempo songs? How can I make an example? Like a mid-tempo movie song. Really?
Levels Khobel.
All right. And a high-tempo song, dancing. Sakwasha Gilero.
Ayanda Ntanzi.
Okay. And there's this, it's not new, it's been there for some time, but it's new to some of us, the Afro rock song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think would nail that?
Him, Kayam Teto.
And then traditional worship, the fail so.
The failure. Pastor Solima Shango.
Okay. And if you had to have, item.
Yeah.
There's 3 people you want them to have a cappella. Harmony. In any order.
Harmony.
Harmony.
Dr. Tumi, Ntokozo Mbambo, Mahalia.
Buchanan. And then contemporary worship.
I can't repeat the name.
Oh, you are great.
I'll say Nube Gombata.
Oh, okay. And somebody to execute a new composition. No one knows the song, but you want them to nail it.
I've already chosen them, man. The list is too long. It's not ending. The list is too long. Because I've already taken all my names that can do these things. Some of them is double grace. They can do it. Dr. Tumi can get a new song. Kayam Teto can do a new. Colin Malulek.
Yeah. All right. Tatem Ruti, this was a pleasure and an honor to have you. Like I said to you, it's an elephant.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
I think.
But thank you.
The conversation must continue.
Yeah, I think let's continue with other people as well. Let's hear. I mean, I'd love to hear what other people are saying.
Yes.
But grateful as well for the opportunity, and also believing that this podcast is going to, be an impact and an influence as well.
Yep.
Within our space and as the kingdom of God as well. I think it's good to just sit down and have a conversation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That was Pastor Lungi Ndala. He's no longer called Preacher Boy, right?
Well, I still am Preacher Boy.
He's a preacher man. What is no joke? He's Preacher man. And to everyone around, please, if you look behind me, we still have space for more CDs and DVDs. Please DM me. Let's make sure we are one big happy family. We want to grow the studio and make sure that this is going international.
Yeah.
You're a big dreamer.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that things that you were dreaming of.
Yeah.
You are living them right now.
That's true.
So I'm adopting your faith.
Yeah.
Saying this is going international.
Yeah.
So your CD being there, next time you'll be paying. So let's make sure your CDs are there. Thank you very much. Please follow the GRP podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
and the Gospel Reality Podcast on all social media platforms. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.